particle.
Of the atomic particle.
Paramamahato.
Paramamahato.
And of the biggest.
And of the biggest.
The result of the combination of atoms.
The result of the combination of atoms.
From you. Adyanta. In both. The beginning and the end.
The beginning and the end.
Antara. In the middle. Varti. Existing. Trayaviduraha. Also without beginning. And or middle. Ado. In the beginning. Ante. The end. Api. Also. Cha. End. Satvanam. Of all existences. Ya. Which. Dhruvam. Permanent. Tat. That. Eva. Certain. Antarale. In the middle. Api. Also. Translation. You exist in the beginning, middle and end of everything, from the most minute particle of the cosmic manifestation, the atom, to the gigantic universes and total material energy. Nonetheless, you are eternal, having no beginning, end, or middle. You are perceived to exist in these three phases, and thus you are permanent. When the cosmic manifestation does not exist, you exist as the original potency. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Brahma Samhita says, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning, also expanded into unlimited forms, still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all-knowing forms of the Lord cannot be understood even by the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no cause, for He is the cause of everything. The Lord is beyond the workings of cause and effect. He is eternally existing. In another verse in Brahma Samhita, Brahma Samhita says, the Lord exists within the gigantic universe and within the atom. The descent of the Lord into the atom and the universe indicates that without His presence, nothing could factually exist. The scientists say that water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen, but when they see a vast ocean, they are puzzled about where such a quantity of hydrogen and oxygen could have come from. They think that everything evolved from chemicals, but where did the chemicals come from? That they do not know. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes, He can produce immense quantities of chemicals to create a situation for chemical evolution. We actually see that chemicals are produced from living entities. For example, a lemon tree produces many tons of citric acid. The citric acid is not the cause of the tree, rather the tree is the cause of the acid. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of everything. He is the cause of the tree that produces the citric acid, bijam mam sarvabhutanam, and devotees can see that the original potencies causing the cosmic manifestation are not in chemicals, but in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for He is the cause of the chemicals. Everything is caused or manifested by the energy of the Supreme Lord, and when everything is annihilated or dissolved, the original potency enters the body of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, this verse says, the word dhruvam means permanent. The permanent reality is Krishna, not this cosmic manifestation. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Amarya Devanam and Madha Sarvam Pravartate, Krishna is the original cause of everything. Arjuna recognized Lord Shri Krishna as the original person, and the Brahma Samhita describes him as the original person, Govinda Manipurusha. He is the cause of all causes, whether at the beginning, at the end, or in the middle. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhuta Vishnumati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Prachami Nirvishesha Shinivadi Pushkati Vizatana. You exist in the beginning, middle and end of everything, from the most minute particle of the cosmic manifestation, the atom, to the gigantic universes and total material energy. Nevertheless, you are eternal, having no beginning, end or middle. You are perceived to exist in these three phases, and thus you are permanent. When the cosmic manifestation does not exist, you exist as the original potency. So here, once again, Srimad Bhagavatam exhibits its scientific features as, Krishna consciousness is something which is puzzling to the minds, both the religionists, Prabhupada called them, and the scientists. Scientists are always insisting that they are the embodiment of rationality and, inhibit actual sanity. And religionists, they are perceived as the ones who are actually sentimentalists, following something which cannot be seen, cannot be proven, and cannot be even felt. So this is a state of things today. Actually, both parties are rejected by Srila Prabhupada, as he points out in the Bhagavad Gita. Simple sentimental followership results sooner or later in fanatism, and dry, speculation, entirely depending on one's mind and whatever there is from intelligence, results in impersonalistic, usually dry speculation, word jugglery. So Prabhupada went right away to the root of the whole disease by exposing that actually the sciences are not rational at all. It's a blind faith, it's a blind belief. They follow something which cannot be proven, cannot be seen, and cannot be verified. This was Prabhupada's essential thing. Life comes from life, not from matter. That's where the basic mistake is. So there are so many causes which are making us blind to see the main cause. And that's the feature of Maya. She makes the important things unimportant and the unimportant things important. And in this way we are kept going in the material world. People feel they have so many problems, so many things to discuss. That's not a problem. No, they don't have really that kind of problems. Usually they are centered around eating, sleeping, mating and defending. But it's actually not the real problem. All this social talk, maybe one might go there even after many years of preaching exploded. He said, I have enough of these social issues. Because they are all actually generated from a sentimental field. Senti means senses, and mental means the mind. And this sentimental, gliding on each other and ribbing on each other, that's called social life. As we described before as an introduction to the seminars about, hopefully not, purely sentimental coexistence amongst devotees. When I feel that you think, and you think that you feel, and I feel that you think, and we should feel that they think, and they should understand what they think when they feel, and all this is endless. You were not here, but I'm a little bit out of control that evening, going in details, making my own private seminar on, social well-being amongst devotees. You have to feel good, you have to feel good.
Was it recorded?
Huh?
Was it recorded?
Did you record that? I don't think so. Hopefully not. That's something some people will shoot me for this. So, that's very popular nowadays. How do you feel? What a question. Did you hear Bhagavatam starting like this? Maharaj Parikshit sitting there, and then the first question in Bhagavatam, how do you feel today? Are you well? Well, I feel it's nice here, We will have a great time, come on, big time, great time. It sounds like an introduction to some pop show, This is, whenever you hear something starting like that, you can be sure, You are wasting your time and listening to somebody who is speaking because he is a lonely, desperate boy or girl. And they feel so mistreated. And they will, Mama. You know, this kind of seminars, don't waste your time with this, because Bhagavatam established another level of well-being. That evening when I went out of control, my major point was that our social well-being can be defined only in one way: to serve together the mission of the spiritual master. Then we have so much social well-being you cannot even imagine. You will embrace people you never saw in your life. You will feel ecstatic in association of those you don't even name. You will just dance together in kirtan with a group of completely ecstatic individuals. The only thing you have to do is to serve together the instruction of the spiritual master. Then our social life is completely guaranteed. Because we know, hey, he is coming the servant of spiritual master. He is coming the servant of the mission. How does he feel? Oh, it can change any minute. You can feel the urgent need to go to the toilet right in the middle of the kirtan. He with your ecstasy is compromised. Anything. The body can produce anything, anytime. Somebody looks at you strangely, you think. It gets endless. It's like in a lecture, no? If you would really study how somebody is looking at you. I'm speaking now, you know. You should pay attention because my guy is speaking, you know. Something very important is coming. So how can you dare just looking at me like this? You know, you think he doesn't like me. Why? Because he doesn't really like me. Look, he's ignoring my words, he's even ignoring my presence. He's falling asleep when I speak. What could be more insulting? Because I'm speaking now. You know, something big is coming and he's falling asleep. That's really insulting. So I feel really bad about this. Now I will use this Bhagavatam to use it in such a way that he wakes up and understands I really want to shake him up because he's falling in Maya. Why? Because he's falling asleep while I'm speaking. That's a proof he's in Maya. Because I'm the center of the universe. And sleeping and not sleeping, awakening or not awakening, will decide by my presence. I'm actually God. You know, so this emotional perception, isn't it amazing? Sometimes you just space out and you just stare. That usually people do when they space out, they just, you know. And then there may be somebody standing here who goes, why is he staring at me? You know. What does he want? He's staring at me. I don't even know him. What does he want? And you stare at him. Come on, why are you staring at me? Then he wakes up from his slumber and realizes somebody is staring at me. And he goes, why is he staring at me like this? I was just spacing out peacefully here and I wake up and then he's staring at me. Does he think I'm stupid, I'm spaced out, or what does he think? False ego is always his own private kitchen, you know. He cooks all these preparations. He thinks that you think. He shouldn't think like this. You are bigger as they think. The only problem is they are idiots, they didn't recognize that. How big you are. That's all false ego cooking, you know, in the kitchen, the preparations there. And then, you know, and then he wakes up, no, he said, no, he's really staring at me. He's angry. I didn't do anything to him. And he looks so challenging. You know, then I look at him challenging, and he looks at me challenging. And so comes the verbal contact, after verbal contact comes the physical contact. And you have two guys beating each other for absolutely nothing. Nothing happened. If you want to know how to look challenging, you have to address our Muslim community. They are really expert on this, you know. They wake up in the morning. Did you ever saw a happy, relaxed Muslim? I didn't. I never saw any happy, relaxed Muslim. Waking up in the morning and going, Allah Akbar, fantastic. I'm so happy. I'm serving Allah. It's so nice. Do you ever saw anybody like this? They wake up, Allah Akbar. You know? Always in this mood. Come on, Allah Akbar. Always angry. Why are you so angry? Serve Allah Akbar. We are completely in agreement. It's fantastic. Allah Akbar, I can say it anytime. There was one devotee preaching in the Middle East. They put him on a wall, they want to execute him. I don't mind God. I can tell you stories from the Middle East, you know, they had a wonderful experience. One of them had to dig his own grave, and he was already, you know, they were already executing him in front of his own grave. He ducked up. And before the commander gave the command to shoot and execute him, he was going, "Oh, and then he broke in some ecstasy and walked out. And they were all confused, and they didn't shoot him when they walked out. And he took the next taxi and drove to the airport and came back to Germany. It's preaching in the Middle East. Ravanari Prabhu, the first translator of Arabic Bhagavad Gita, he tells us stories from Lebanon day and night, you know. He loved it. You know, how he was actually pacifying. He was sentenced to death, I think, many times. And whenever they want to execute it, he had his own way. He had a pack of incense. He started to distribute to the execution squad, you know, and they were all, "Oh, Allah Akbar," you know. He softened up, and they didn't shoot him. And he always kind of managed to get himself out of the execution situation. He loved to tell this kind of stories. That's Middle East. Allah Akbar, I shoot you. That's the mood, you know. So, this is obviously some lack of understanding. So we are not basing our, you know, our understanding of Krishna consciousness on defining who is our enemy and who is our friend, and whom should we shoot and who not. This is about philosophy. Philosophy means to conclusively understand the summum bonum, the essence. Prabhupada dismissed all the so-called Western philosophy because they never arrive at any essence. They never arrive at any summum bonum. They just keep on speculating. He said, and he said, and they said, and we have to study what they said. That's all. You know, everybody said something. So when you study and you can quote how everybody said something, you are a good philosopher. But don't conclude anything. That's a capital offense. You cannot say it is like that. No. It could be also different, you know. In this way, you get lost in this mental brew, you know, never arriving at anything. Bunch of confused people, that's all. Which actually are cynics. They don't take it even seriously. They don't want to be conclusive. Because conclusive means that you will have to act upon what you are saying. That they don't want. That's very dangerous. I act another, acting, that's another issue. You know, even Christians will come up, yeah, Jesus said this, and the flesh is weak. You know, the flesh is weak. Of course the flesh is weak, we know that. We can back it up from the Shastra, how weak the flesh can be. So what? What does it explain? So do something with your flesh. You know, work on it at least. You know, shape up the flesh. You are above the flesh. In other words, flesh is weak, what they say, I'm this body. You know. No, we have, God gave us the facility in the human form of life to raise above the body and say, no, I will not eat this. I will not have sex now. No. Nice, thank you very much. No. You know, yeah. That's what Prabhupada said to Ramakrishna Maharaj. I can give a lecture to 1,000 naked women. You cannot do that. Why? Why, just because somebody is naked? Prabhupada would say, oh, Mataji, you are getting cold. Or something like this. He said this to this reporter woman who, you know, in those days, you cannot imagine. There was many women, these reporters, which were reporting with Prabhupada, making interviews, very often women. And they had either miniskirts or something which was called the hot pants. You know, it's coming again, it's, you know, it's kind of, you know, very miniature bathing outfit, you could call it. And this was like a public fashion. They walked in this. So, you know, so to have such a girl sitting in front of Prabhupada with a microphone going, Swamiji, why do Hare Krishnas have no hair? You know, they always are concerned with the hair and the Sika and all this kind of, because the only thing they can see is the hair, So, Swamiji, why you are bald-headed? You know, and Prabhupada gave this really amazing answer. He said, well, some people, not even pointing, but she knew exactly what he's talking about. Some people like to keep the legs bald, you know. We like to keep the head bald because we like to think in a cool way. Some people like to keep their legs cool, means they have no brain. And some people like to keep the head cool because they can use the brain. very simple explanation of bald-headed, shaving. And the lady got it. She understood and she started to laugh, because he actually explained to her, your brain is in your legs. Therefore you like to keep your legs cool. Now, of course, it requires quite pure vision to see a woman with exposed legs and thinking Mataji likes to keep the legs cool. That requires, normal men don't think like that. But Prabhupada had this pure vision. He said, some people have brain in the legs, so they like to keep the legs cool, and some people, they just want to have a bold, exposed head because they like to keep their brain cool, because they're using it. The lady got it, she started to laugh. There was another woman who told Prabhupada, you're always talking like I'm some incompetent child. Prabhupada smiled so sweetly and said, spiritually spoken, yes. And she was like, okay. He completely melted her heart, So you are a spiritual child, yes. And she was, thank you for the answer. Thank you. So, of course, it requires immense spiritual purity to take the false ego out of people like this. Because the real problem in preaching is always the false ego, which blocks the whole thing, blocks any error. Even they know you are right, they will not agree. Because the false ego is such a ghastly mechanism, it just goes, no, no, no. I will, you can ask Gonita, he brings every day the stories from the street, meeting Satanists and all kinds of people, and of course you get tempted because it's unavoidable. I got also stuck sometimes on the street. Things you could consider waste of time, but you cannot avoid to have that fun sometimes, just poking to that stupidity they're exhibiting, It's like Janardhan Prabhu, he told me, he was also tempted, because he was distributing in a shopping street in Copenhagen, and on one side there was, this nowadays very popular, Walking Dead. People paint themselves as zombies, and they just walk together. As if they would be not zombies enough, they have to enhance the image. So they really paint, really very good. He said it was a bunch of guys, really nice painted. And on the other side of the shopping street was Witness Jehovah, having their stand and preaching and all. So he couldn't help this. He just stopped at the Witness Jehovah stand. He said, hey, you have another branch over there, on the other end of this, this. I mean, because you are preaching here, the grace will open, and they will all come out. So they already did come out, They are already there. It's your followers there, because in a certain point the grace will be open and we go to heaven and you will have a good time. So that happens when the grace go open, this kind of guys come out. So actually they are combined, right? That's your branch there. Of course the chief got really upset. What are you talking about? This is crazy. And he said, no, that's what you are preaching here. That the grace will be open and all the zombies come out, so that's what they are already coming. They are there, on the other side of the shopping street. But actually he got the man to agree that he told him, so what is coming? The body or the soul? Can you give me an answer, please? And the man said, of course the soul. Yes. He said, right, that's good. That sounds better there. Thank you very much. And then, but they are really confused. Is this the body coming out or the soul? Is the soul the body or is the body the soul? We're not really clear about that. So, it's not like we want to insult other religions. No, we insult stupidity. We dare to insult stupidity. Any kind. Religious stupidity, irreligious stupidity, any kind of stupidity. The Prabhupada gave us the mission. You go out and insult any stupidity. But, just for your warning, don't get in the process proud. Don't get arrogant. They know that. Prabhupada, when you listen carefully how he did it in such a beautiful way. You can tell people they are stupid, but keep on smiling. Don't get this, I am superior to you, I am carrying the truth. Shut up! Oh, that they know. Any fanatic is doing that. They know that. So Prabhupada said, you have to catch the fish without getting back. It means you have to go around the false ego and, and I mean, Prabhupada could say things, you know, I cannot even quote sometimes what he said in South Africa in a lecture to 80% of the listeners were, you know, black-bodied, you know, people, and he tells them, you know, straight in the lecture that black skin is a result of sinful activities and black people are prone to stealing. He even said, we have our own experience in our movement, yes. You know, straight up. And they were giving a big round of applause, you know, because it's free of envy, you know. You are not motivated to install yourself above that person. Hey, I got a big machine gun, and therefore I will shoot you. Bang! You know. No. You're simply presenting. In a mood, they will challenge back. They will say, what about you? You are stupid. I said, yes. Therefore, I am in Krishna consciousness because I'm stupid. And therefore I have a spiritual master and I'm learning. By the way, who is your spiritual master? What are you learning? Let's compare, that's all. Let's make comparative study. How are you learning? From whom you are learning? And then I can tell you from whom I am learning. They are both stupid. I agree, yeah. Nobody can deal with that. They are not prepared for this kind of discussion usually. They get like, but I told you you are stupid. Yeah, I agreed. You know? The question is, where are you learning from? And this is the transparency of the preacher has to be there all the time. This is what Prabhupada, he was so effective in his preaching because he said, I'm just, you know, he said, even you don't have to believe me, but you must believe the Vedas. You know? So when it came to Prabhupada got insulted, he got mistreated, naturally, he got challenged. Every preacher has to experience that. So Prabhupada was good, But Krishna says, bang, you know, and then on that point, totally uncompromising. So this way, preacher can be protected. So here we have in the shloka once again a very scientific description of God who is existing in the beginning, in the middle, at the end. Because, as Jiva Goswami said, the only reason people act sinfully, because they forgot God. They forgot He's here, watching, seeing, observing. And now when we are aware of the presence of God, then immediately the process of purification started. So that's the essence of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada, I didn't do anything special. I'm just bringing people to the people the awareness of God. That's how He works, that's how He looks, that's where He lives, that's what He said, that's what He wants us to do. And then, according to raising awareness, means 24 hours a day awareness. Not, 5 minutes lecture and that's it. Then you do any damn thing. All the time. Now, if you consider your life, even after many years in Krishna consciousness, many years, what does it mean, many years? Just spend millions of lifetimes, flying and crawling and devouring others and in all kinds of bodies and with not one thought of Krishna, nothing. Just powering through our lives, what? Ooh, Krishna. And now we are supposed to be, in 20s, 40 years Krishna conscious. That's very small time, it's very short, very short. It's really a human form of life, one lifetime. Problem is it's too short to become fully Krishna conscious, but it's long enough to fall in Maya. That's almost endless. You can fall in Maya 5 minutes before you are dying. There's always something going on. Hey, come on. Here. When you are young, Maya tells you, can play Maya always through your whole life. Maya tells you, you are transcendental and dark, you are so much power. Because you cannot distinguish between passion and spiritual inspiration. Then your teeth are a bit broken and the elasticity goes out of the body. Maybe you get some doubt that this was actually transcendental power which was moving you around all the time. So, you think, well, Haribo,